Well, let's bring you more now on that warning from climate scientists that the planet Earth may only be a few decades from reaching a tipping point that would trigger irreversible global warming. Well, let's talk to Tom Burke, Chairman of Third Generation Environmentalism and former Executive Director at Friends of the Earth. Good to see you, Tom.
Evening, Stephen.
Look, we know that things are likely to continue in the same direction for 20 or 30 years, but why do we reach an irreversible tipping point?
Well, because the way the climate works, you have positive feedback loops. And if you tip over, say, the loss of the permafrost so that it releases methane, then that will trigger other things like the dieback of the forest in the Amazon. And these things build up cumulatively. And once that happened, you're not going to reverse that for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it's effectively, as far as civilization is concerned, irreversible. And that's what they're warning about. Now, they're not as sure exactly where that is, but what we're discovering is that the climate is changing faster, and what's happening is nastier than we initially thought.
What about in the report we had earlier on, they were talking about oceans releasing a lot more CO2. Oceans are meant to be a carbon sink, aren't they?
Well, that's exactly what the scientists are afraid of, is that the sinks in the oceans, in the forests, elsewhere, turn into sources if we lift the temperature too high. So we used to think that 2 degrees, that was officially the sort of boundary of dangerous climate change. And what we're being warned now is that may not be the boundary. It may be a bit lower than that, 1.5, or we may already have passed it. They don't really know. So what they're really saying is we've just got to get on with faster with decarbonizing the economy.
Do we know that this is scientifically accurate, we like, or is it just people trying to apply more pressure? Because you say people want us to act faster. Well, this is a great way of persuading people.
Yeah, what you think of climate change as a disease like diabetes. It can very often.
You're talking to a type 1 diabetic, so.
Right? So you know what I'm talking about. So it can very often be symptomatic. You may not know the symptoms, but if you don't do anything about it, it gets progressively worse. And at different periods of time, you pass different thresholds, which your body won't recover from it. Well, the climate's exactly like that. It just gets, if we don't do something about it, it'll go on getting worse. And we'll be passing these tipping points, and we'll find ourselves in a world, as the scientists were saying, that's not like where large parts of the world are uninhabitable.
So what do we do from this point in, if we want to stop this? Because there's been obviously so much in place for a very long time, and we keep missing targets, don't we?
We can stop burning fossil fuels. It really is that simple. We know exactly what we've got to do to stop this problem getting worse. We can't undo the problem, but we can stop it getting worse. And we know how to stop burning fossil fuels. We've already got all the technology we need. We've got more technologies coming down the pipe, so we know we can build a perfectly functioning economy without burning fossil fuels.
Can we, though? In the sense that we've got our fuel demands are so high. I mean, even all this talk of electric cars, well, at the minute we're burning fossil fuels to put the power into electric cars.
Sure. Well, yes, indeed, but we could replace all of that burning of fossil fuels to generate electricity with renewables, with energy efficiency, new batteries, with making much more efficient use of the generating capacity we have. We really could move very much faster than we're currently moving to a carbon neutral global economy. And we could do that, then at least we'll stop the problem getting worse. The problem isn't technology, nor is the problem economics. We know we can afford to do this. The real problem is the politics. The real problem is dealing with the fact that you change the pattern of winners and losers. If you get rid of fossil fuels, some people lose, even as other people are winning. And I think what we've got is a real political failure to tackle those problems.
Tom, really good to talk to you. Fascinating. Thanks very much indeed.